Hello, David here. I was looking at what to play when I came across my ever expanding backlog. While looking at it, I noticed there was a game that my best friend had and I never got to play. Destroyer Humans. Destroyer Humans had always been a staple in my friend group, one that unfortunately I hadn't played. They would always mention it whenever the topic of favorite games would come up. They even showed me some gameplay of the second game, saying that it was even better than the first. That is something that I'm still to find out if it's true. And before anyone asks, why not play Destroy Humans 2 if that's the one they showed you? Well, for some unknown reasons, I can't play games out of order if it's a continuous story. How was my time with Destroy Humans? Was it as good as my friends told me? Or did they lie to me? Well, to answer that, I first have to start with the story. It opens with a generic History Channel conspiracy guy asking what's beyond the stars and if aliens are real and friendly. After his opening speech worthy of a documentary, the first thing we see is the American army blowing Crypto 136 saucer up by accidentally sending a rocket right to it. They then send some men to check out what's left of the saucer. They find the injured Crypto 136. It cuts to a floating gray alien who's disappointed in the knowledge that 136 was captured. In comes the player, Crypto 137, making jokes and asking what's wrong. That's when we learn that we and 136 are clones, and that 136 was sent to Earth because our ancestors left their DNA all over the planet. So then we say that we need to save 136. To save us, or have him save us. When do we get to blow shit up again? It is then decided to head towards Earth and recover some of that ancient DNA. We are first tasked with determining the dominant species, and our first candidates? Cows. We have the ability to read minds, so after reading some cow brains and having them shit on our face, we decide that they are not the ones we are looking for, so we send them flying. Then our first human confuses us with steak, and his first reaction after realizing we aren't is to shoot at us, only to get zapped by us. His wife then yells after she sees the green alien, whoever that is. We see that we are indeed in America as all the neighbors come out with their shotguns. After a few seconds of electrocution and making people fly, the cops arrive and shoot our pacifistic self without asking us what happened. After getting rid of the cops and getting in our ship, the army pops up. How did they even find out in the first place? Anyways, we make sure that the place is cleared out quickly and get ourselves out, just to see that the men in black saw us. As part of investigating the dominant species, we decide to research the most obvious way possible, by visiting the fair. Upon landing, we disguise ourselves as a random person, so we don't alert the authorities. Not that it mattered in that parking spot, since most people were preoccupied. Upon entering the fair, we start reading people's brains, and all they think about is food, the Rockwell Queen, and card shaking activities. Upon realizing that this town's beauty in this situation doesn't come with a brain, we are then tasked with hypnotizing and abducting Miss Rockwell. After which, the police notice immediately. My guess being they are her biggest fans. We, being petty they noticed us, decide to take a few cop cars, destroy the fair, and then leave for the day. We then get assigned a very easy mission, to find out why humans are mutating cows. After we find out why and destroy the scientists that did it, nothing else happens and we leave. Huh? Is that not what happens? Joking aside, for some reason, I got bit by the "you suck" bug and I couldn't get past the security to give a speech worthy of a president. After taking everyone for a fool, giving an inspiring speech, we get told to go to the next town over and be a menace over there. Upon arriving at Santa Modesta, we disguise ourselves as a regular person and decide to read some minds. We hear that the mayor of this town is having a pool party, and we decide to go. But when we arrive, we notice no one is in the pool, so we decide to make it right. The cops didn't like that we made the party more fun, so they decide to chase after us, but they can't chase us if they have no car. After taking their transportation, we decide to give them space, and we leave once again. During a relaxing night stroll, we run into the men in black, saying that they want to mind control people. Our boss thinks it's a good idea, and we are tasked with destroying their car and to get their plans. So we are the ones doing the mind control. After getting that done and drowning a sleeping scientist, we go and bend antennas so we can start mind controlling. Only to put too much power, resulting in them having a mind-opening experience. After leaving early for snacks the night before, we are tasked to go back and collect the open minds that we left. But this time with the permission to give humans a self-discovering, mind-opening experience, thanks to our new weapon, the probe. Now, I forgot to mention that most missions up to now are basically disguised tutorials. But this one isn't that well disguised, and it introduces you to the EMP that blocks all your abilities if you are in range. In this mission though, there are barely an inconvenience, and we complete it real fast after opening some mines up. Before I decided to record and do YouTube, and unlike Monster Hunter, I had actually started playing this game and got to this point. In this mission, there's a glitch, in which one of the scientists won't spawn after destroying the diners. In my first unrecorded playthrough, I restarted the mission 7 times before restarting my PS5 for it to work. It is actually the reason I put down the game until this video. And on this playthrough, I restarted twice with no luck. Then instead of restarting the mission, I decided to let the enemies kill me and restarted from the checkpoint, and that made him spawn. Now that is out of the way, back to the story. Here, we are tasked with learning the link between the scientists and the men in black by reading their minds while on their lunch breaks. We find out they are poisoning the food to make people skeptical of us. So out goes the scientists and the food. Then we hear some of them are escaping, so we destroy them too. After our leader finally decides to be a bit more direct, he orders us to capture and question one of the men in black. We find out they want to mind control people with movies now. At this point, I wonder, who is more evil, us or them? On our next mission, we see the men in black are recruiting for the National Guard. Apparently they're getting orders from the most qualified of leaders, the goggle-wearing mask person. We overhear that they had put the movie in already, but our leader has the groundbreaking idea to do the same, but better. While sneaking in, I give someone a trip back to boot camp days,
flashbacks to boot camp,
making me wonder, what do they even do there? After finally putting up a hologram of a projector, the brain-watching movie starts. To this day, I'm still not sure how a hologram can project a movie or get damaged. While defending the hologram, I try to hit an idiot with another to complete a side objective, only to fail miserably. Seriously, how hard is it to hit a person with another? In the next mission, they let our destructive tendencies loose, and the title of the game makes a little bit more sense now. We are, however, trying to inconvenience the men in black by destroying their property and agents with some casualties on the side. Though in this mission I spent more than is worth trying to destroy a building with an agent, I swear. I should have completed it a lot sooner than I actually did. We move on to our next mission, where our leader wants us to retry the brainwashing on TV again, but this time the human way. So we are tasked with kidnapping a respectable scientist to do our brainwashing. Upon landing, we encounter an alien conspiracist who immediately tells us where the scientist is and how to get to him. Without thanking him, we go to the scientist, and upon reaching him undetected, we are given my missionly dose of struggle for no reason. This time, I was forgetting to get the scientists to follow us and messing up exploding the soldiers. Thankfully, there is more than enough explosive and we managed to successfully kidnap a scientist. After setting up the broadcast, our leader sends us to defend the broadcast towers. Honestly, this mission is easy other than the Iron Man version 1, that attacks us on our last wave. No mission struggles on this one. Is the curse finally over? After the media ridiculed our trusted scientists for speaking the truth, like always, we finally got sent to find out what happened to us, I mean him, Crypto 136. We find out that he crashed in Area 51, I mean 42, so we decide to infiltrate to see what we can find. After reading and getting a couple of brains, we reach the majestic lab of the Men in Black and find out that they not only killed us, I mean 136, but they also dissected him. In a rage, we destroy all evidence of 136 and some humans too, before being ordered to retreat for now, and we reluctantly do so with the promise that we'll make them pay. Our leader learns that they made mutants with our powers at the lab in Area 42. So he sends us to infiltrate the lab and destroy it from the inside out, including the mutants. Once we leave the lab, he tasks us with destroying some Tesla coils, which I do with my electric gun, loving the irony. Then he sends us to destroy the whole place with our saucer, prompting the question, aside from the underground lab, why not do that from the beginning? Pucks learns that the humans might have a new weapon, so he sends us in to investigate to make sure that they don't blow themselves up and we lose our DNA, which is fair. We sneak in and read some people's mind, finding out that a few people are cheating, but more importantly, we learn where the new flying machine is and the scientist responsible. So we do our thing, but sneakily this time, and destroy the scientists. And then we attract the attention of the base at the other end of where the flying machine is by destroying things. After we sneak in into the hangar and sabotage their saucer, we leave. We learn that the Men in Black are truly the bad guys, since they don't even trust the army themselves. Well, as evil as us, I guess. The test goes ahead as scheduled, only for the saucer to blow up, making the Air Force look bad in front of the army, like they needed any help for that. We are then tasked with destroying the whole thing, but before we can head out with gun in hand, our leader stops us and tells us he has a faster way, a nuke. So we get the most annoying of missions, an escort mission. Our escort? A nuke. After successfully making it to the end and activating the nuke, we need to make sure they don't deactivate it. After a couple of minutes, we leave as the nuke explodes, like the action movies that definitely haven't been filmed yet. We then see the Men in Black leader, Goggles, instructing the army general to come to the capital, and we follow. Our leader apparently liked how good we are at escorting, so he sidetracks from following the general to escort a droid that is scanning people and buildings. Thankfully this time was easier, and in the end we got the sweet reward of destroying the city. However, before I could get to destroying, my game decided to remind me it's kinda buggy, so it crashed on me again, though not as bad as the glitch before, since a simple closing of the game fixed it. Then I guess, we noticed we should have been going after the general and we are flying low, for some reason, without our camouflage we had on the cutscene, so we are unexpectedly shut down. Upon waking up, we notice they haven't learned from all the previous destruction we've caused, nor from the dissection of 136, and have us in a simple cage. We obviously escape with our telekinesis. We decide to disguise ourselves to find our gun, but once we do, it's not working, so we have to search and read minds some more. Upon getting all of our equipment, we make our way to the jetpack, in where we alert the whole army and don't fail until we get the jetpack. After successfully trying that again, we only have one thing left to get, our saucer. While on the ride towards our saucer, we see the humans really don't care for each other, as the ferry captain runs over a soldier that fell in the water. How despicable. Upon arriving, we make our way to the saucer stealthily, only to notice they took the battery out and we need that. After recovering a few of the power cells we need and joining some agents along the way, we are finally able to start up our saucer. But of course, we can't leave without some payback first, so we destroy most of the things in the little island before we leave. We finally know where the general went, and surprise, it's the White House. We park our saucer without camouflage in the middle of a park, in broad daylight, so we obviously need to sneak around in this mission. After sneaking around for a bit and reading some scientists' minds, we disguise ourselves as one of the scientists and make our way onto the Pentagon. There we see Goggles telling the general that he is in charge of all military branches and assigns the general as the messenger. Then Pox, surprised, tells us how the humans found our saucer and we need to stop them. How dumb does he think humans are? So we hurry there and defeat those who would carjack us, or rather saucerjack us, and then leave. We then tail the general to the meeting place while sabotaging the men in black along the way by destroying their spy antennas. When we arrive at the meeting location, we see the Marine warlord still outside, so we disguise ourselves as him to sabotage the meeting from inside. After successfully making the Navy go away, we fail to convince the Air Force, prompting me to get sucker punched by the general as he leads us with his men in a gunfight. After getting the anticipated order of annihilating the humans and destroying the army men, we head outside to see the general has a mech suit now, so we take him on a fight. Now, because he sucker punched us earlier, we get our ass kicked a couple of times. It's the sucker punch fault. It's not that I suck. Anyway, in one of my attempts, I did run into another glitch that sent me flying out of the map, prompting a failure for leaving the fighting area. After defeating the general, we give an emotional speech about being not so different, only to destroy him after he fell for our lie. While I was dealing with the army, apparently Pox had been listening to the radio and heard that the president is making a public speech. He then says he sounds more important than the general and sends me to track him down. When we arrive at the city, Pox lets me know he knows nothing about the location or what the president looks like, so we follow an important looking car. The men in black seem to be one step ahead of us this time, as the car led us right into an ambush. Once we help some soldiers swim and give the rest shock therapy, we are told by Pox that the president is making his appearance. Annoyed at the situation, we come to the conclusion we should give him an unforgettable firework show. After which, the men in black, or dudes in dark, have found our saucer again. So we give them an electrifying show of force and leave in our saucer. We hear that the senators are voting for a new leader, so we decide that if there's no senator to vote, the vote cannot pass. Side note here, I ran into more senators than civilians, cops, and military combined. There were so many, I fell a couple of times due to the sheer number of them. I wonder if we have some human spray to keep them away. After the successful senator wipeout, we get alerted by Pox that they have a weapon that threatens our invasion, Tesla coils. So on we go to destroy them all by foot, after which we get told there are more, so we get in our saucer to destroy those. I still get in and destroy the remaining ones, ending this mostly uneventful mission. Following this, Goggles wants to give us the key to the world, so he invites us to the White House once again. There, he taunts us to attack him, and it is revealed that Goggles is the next Black Widow, after which she summons a 50-foot robot president to attack us, so we run back to our saucer to take it on. Now, side note here, during the game you can upgrade yourself or the saucer, and it's best if you do both, even if you have to do some side rampage to do so. I say this to say, I didn't do that and put it all on myself. I went into the fight with a paper mache instead of a saucer and got my butt handed to me so bad. I went into a 2-hour-long grind session to max out the saucer for the rematch. After an unexpectedly challenging fight in where I chased the robot from the White House to the Pentagon, the Black Widow interrupts our gloating to challenge us to take on the gender that runs the show, herself. After about 10 more minutes of trying to hit the Black Widow, we finally beat her. She lets us know with her last breath that America isn't the only place in the world. Unlike some of the humans, we read the minds of think, and that the men in black are all over the world. After her grand final speech, we decide to fake being the president and brainwash all Americans just because we can. Now that I finished the game, the thought of completing it crossed my mind, but after the 2 hour long power leveling session that I did before the final boss, I decided to stop here since I enjoyed the story and the gameplay so much that tackling the second game is definitely in the future for me. I skimmed a little bit over the gameplay while talking about the story, but I'll go over it a little bit now. The gameplay is like a third-person shooter mixed with a 2000s platformer. What makes this game so fun, in my opinion, is how it lets you do things, like chalking people and having their skeleton shown, shooting them with mini fireballs, and having them turn into ash, or how you can help them with their prostate exam. You do have psychic powers, which allow you to skateboard and dash, as well as pick up people and throw them all over. You can also release their brain from their bodies. The game also allows you to make people follow you or make them do a weird dance to distract people. Couple this with the disguise mechanic and you have decent stealth capabilities in this game. Though following the title of the game is a lot more fun in my opinion. As far as the saucer goes, I feel like that's the weakest part of the game. Fully upgraded, it packs a decent punch and can survive quite a bit of damage, but before then it takes an eternity and a half to destroy a single building. Missiles come fast to the point that if you see them on screen, it's too late to avoid, even with the shield. And just a couple of those would take you down. Thankfully the game isn't that hard, so it really didn't become an issue for me during gameplay until the end. One thing that did ruin my experience a bit was the glitches. But I think that comes down to me playing the PS4 version on my PS5. Maybe I wouldn't have encountered so many if I had played on the PS4 or just played the original version on the PS2. Even then I had a blast with the game. My friends were right to bring it up in those conversations we had long ago. Now, before I leave, I guess I'll leave any fellow newcomers with some tips. Upgrade both Crypto and the Saucer. Can't stress enough how hard the President is with a regular Saucer. Also, try to go for all the extra objectives on the story missions. It gives the game that little extra challenge while doing the missions. Well, thank you for watching the video. And could you please hit the like button on your way out? It knows what it did. Farewell.